All right. Okay, you guys, without any further ado, I'm so excited to have our speaker train us. She has been working a couple of different jobs, which has brought a lot of experience to her and leadership trainings and a lot of things that she's been able to do as a part of her jobs that she's had traveling all over the world, too, by the way. And we talked about a little bit on the car on the way back of what are we needing right now. And, we just came off of career conference and with the company showing how much they need leaders because so many of our pioneers and, the people that we grew up with watching America are retiring. And so it's time for us to bridge that gap of the next generation. So the topic is going to be all about leadership. And I'm just going to, without any further ado, let's give it up for Jill Stewart. She's going to be our trainer tonight. I'm going to put it on speaker view
Awesome.
for the
Thank you
recording.
very much. Can everybody hear me okay?
Mhm.
All right. Well, I'm excited to teach about leadership. I've had the opportunity to participate in different leadership conferences, leadership trainings. I hold a position of leadership as director of marketing for the company I work for. It's a national company based out of Chicago. And I work with some amazing leaders with my job and then also here with Mary Kay. But I just really felt after a recent conference I went to with women in leadership in corrections, because that's what the area that I work in. It was in Bangkok, Thailand, which was amazing. And it just really inspired me. And then, of course, we go to career conference and we're inspired all over again. I think so many of us, when talking about career conference, the word leadership kept coming up, right? We were referring to it almost as leadership conference, even though it was career conference, and leadership conference is a little different. But it's so important for all of us to, no matter what level we're at right now, to understand leadership and how that works and what that looks like. So for this particular training, we are going to focus on John Maxwell's 5 levels of leadership. It's a training I participated in back in August, and it really fits well with Mary Kay. I think Denise told me that they don't often bring in outside entities for training, but this was one that they have utilized before, is my understanding. Tell me if I'm wrong about that, but
Yep, that is correct.
okay. So I did make a little presentation I'm going to share about. I know for some of you that are on your phone, you might not be able to see it, but I will be talking through it. So uh, no need to worry if you can't see it, but who doesn't love a fun little
Oh, I love it.
who doesn't love a fun little presentation, right? So yeah, this is just going to help us to understand um, different leadership approaches and their effects. And so we're just going to talk about those 5 levels. Oops, let me go back one. So that first level position is that starting position of leadership, which is position. And this is where people follow you because they have to, right? You've been put in a position of leadership, and so you have people that are under you, and they have to follow you because you are their manager, leader, whatever. Now, what this looks like for us in Mary Kay is you have decided to become a Mary Kay consultant. And you might be saying, well, how does that make me a leader? Well, you are now a business owner, so you obviously have to be a leader in that position. But you are also a leader when it comes to your customers, right? You have to know your product and you have to lead them through the answering their questions about those products. And you don't have to know all the answers, but you do have to work with them. And I think I mentioned at a career conference, there was something that really stuck out to me. One of the videos where the gal talked about at night, she is the CEO of her company and writes out her list of things to do. And the next day, as the employee of her company, she starts to accomplish those lists. So what this looks like for positional leaders and what we need to focus on so that we can hit that next level. So it's a nice place to visit, but you don't want to live there. This is the starting ground, and this is where you start to decide how you're going to move to that next level, training in different areas. So taking advantage of the MK connections, the training, all of that is a great place to start. This is the only position or the only level that doesn't require ability and effort to achieve. So anyone can be appointed to this position, but of course, like for us, we've just decided to take this on by becoming a consultant. Position is a poor substitute to leadership. You are not a leader if imagine you are on your way to McCall, if you're familiar with McCall and you're on your way, and you're that one car up front that is keeping all the other cars from getting to McCall. Just because you're the front car doesn't mean that you're a leader, just because everybody's following you. So position, leadership, it's different. A leader doesn't need to have all the answers, and we just talked about that. It's okay not to know, but it's important to say you're going to find out and get those answers. And a good leader always includes others. So I like this quote by this former CEO of Girl Scouts of USA, and she says, leadership is much less about what you do and much more about who you are. And that's so huge, right? Our energy introduces us before we even speak a word. When we enter a room, the energy that we give off says a lot about us and who we are. So just keep that in mind. So that second level, level 2, is permission. And this is about relationships. And this is where people follow you because they want to. So again, in our business at Mary Kay, we are working with our customers and we are building those relationships. And most of the time, when we recruit somebody to be on our team, it's because we built a relationship with them and they like us, right? They have bonded with us in one way or another. So some things that permissional leaders need to think about when they're ready to work on moving up to the next level. You can't lead people until you like people. This is very important. Building relationships, you have to like people. You have to get to know them. You have to ask them questions. So important. But also important is connecting with yourself, understanding who you are and how you connect with other people. Some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts, and that's okay. There's still a way for us to connect and build those relationships with people. It requires openness to be effective. So you need to be open with people, honest with people. They appreciate that. And practicing the golden rule, right? This is so important. We hear this all the time, but treat others the way you want to be treated. I think we heard it at Career Conference. When you're selling to a customer or when you're working with a customer, treat them the way you want to be treated. Become your team's encourager in chief. I just love that. Keeping the levels up is so important in leadership and keeping people excited about what's happening, what's going on. Denise, April, Heidi, you guys do a great job of this, getting us excited with all the news you share at the beginning of these calls. Strike a balance between care and candor, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But this next quote, when the crunch comes, people cling to those they can trust, those who are not detached but are involved. So it's important for us to continue to keep those relationships strong, constantly checking in with our people, not only our customers, but our team members. So when it talks about striking a balance between caring and candor, so with caring shows that you value the person, and candor shows that you value the person's potential. Caring establishes the relationship, where candor expands the relationship. Caring defines the relationship, and candor directs the relationship. And caring should never suppress candor, where candor should never replace caring. So sometimes when we talk about building relationships, this isn't about treating your customers or your team members like family, right? I think some of us could think about some of our relationships with family members. My sister's on this call. I love her. She's great. But maybe she can relate a little bit to this, right? We're not going to treat our people, our customers, our teammates like family, but you do have to strike a balance. This particular leadership can often be taken advantage of because you're trying to build those relationships. You're trying to show that you care, but it's also very important that we show that we provide direction and that we show that leadership of helping them reach their potential. And we're not able to do that if we're not being fully honest with them, if we're suppressing some of our thoughts or feelings about where they need to work on or how they need to excel because we don't want to hurt their feelings. You have to be like a surgeon in this situation where you're being very careful about how you approach it. So care without candor creates dysfunctional relationships, and candor without care creates distance relationships. So just something to keep in mind when you're working not only with your customers, but with your team members. Level 3 is about production and about results. So people follow you at this level because of what you have done for the organization, right? They see that you are like doing big things. Kelly comes to mind for me. She is just excelling. Watching her walk across that stage for her sales was absolutely amazing. And when people see that, they want to be a part of that. So productive leaders, we heard this at Career Conference. You want to be the team member that you want on your team. I can't remember who said that, but you essentially want to behave in a way that you would want those under you behaving. Whoever it was that had talked about it had basically said, when you're training that person up and you're saying, okay, so the first thing that you want to do is this, that person should be saying, yes, I know, because that's what you did with me, you know? And so it's very important for us to model the behavior that we want to see from our team members. It's also important to understand everyone's productivity niche. Everybody is a little bit different. You're going to find people who come in and they are just go-getters and they find the answers on their own, where others need a little more guidance in finding some of those answers. So you kind of have to be able to work with each of these different personality types and help lead them and guide them. Cast vision continually. When we're creating goals for our team as a leader, it's important to help them visualize what the end goal is going to look like. And to build up your team, and that's not talking about adding more members to it, it's about helping those members succeed, helping them build up their own confidence, helping them reach the goals that they want to, each of their individual goals. Use momentum to solve problems, work together, find a way. It's always better that way. And then discern how team members affect momentum. And we're going to go into that in a little bit more in just a moment. But with this quote from Paul Harvey, you can tell you're on the road to success because it's uphill all the way. I thought that's a great quote. So if you can't see this on your screen, what we have is a rowboat, and at the front of the boat is a leader, and then we have some people who are considered rowers, some people who are considered watchers, and some people who are considered sinkers. And so it's important to know where your team members or even your customers fit into this particular rowboat. You're going to have people who are rowers, so they're just going for it and they just row, row, row. And then you're going to have people that are watchers. They might like occasionally throw in a row, but for the most part, they're kind of watching things. And then you're going to have sinkers, and sinkers are ones that you're going to find their attitude isn't in it. I think with Mary Kay, we don't generally find that we have too many sinkers, but when you do find that you have a sinker, it's most likely because something is going on in their life. And this is where relationships are so important. So a good leader can help a sinker or a rower, or a sinker or a watcher, get back up into that rowing position. A bad leader can take a rower and make them want to become a watcher or a sinker. So it's so important for us to continually keep those relationships strong with our team members, know them personally, know what's going on in their lives. And if they seem like they're struggling, if they seem like they were a rower and suddenly they're kind of a watcher or even a sinker, we need to find out why. We need to show that caring and then also that candor that we talked about earlier. You'll hear this a lot with John Maxwell. The true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Influence is so important as a leader. And then this quote from John Maxwell: the pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, and the leader adjusts the sails. So level 4 is about people development. So now we've built some relationships, but how do we help our people to develop into leaders themselves? And this is about reproduction. And again, we heard about this at Career Conference. You want to multiply yourself, essentially. You want to take you, if you are a good model of the work that you want from others, and multiply yourself. So on this level, people follow because of what you have done for them. So at this level, leaders who develop their people, they must be willing to grow themselves. You should be constantly growing. You should decide that people are worth the effort. Work through your insecurities. Oftentimes, as we're helping other people develop at this level, if you're an insecure leader and someone is developing past your skill set, you might feel, you might struggle with that, I guess. And it's important not to do that. There should be no comparison. There should be no contention. There should be no need to feel like there's competition. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but developing your people, there should be no competition. Recruit the best people you can to develop. You're going to find there's characteristics of people who are going to make better leaders. Now, that's not to say you should turn people away that want to join your team. You might be able to help some of those watchers become a rower. But if you're really searching out people, make sure you're, I think Denise had said, or somebody had said, when you're seeking out people to join your team, make sure they're the kind of people you want to share a hotel room with. Is that right? Because we go to our conferences and we're sharing hotel rooms with them or sharing a room at the Airbnb. But more importantly, you want to seek out people that you can help develop into leaders. Commit to spend time, the time needed to develop your leaders. Never work alone. It takes a team. And I think it's important to mention that just because, you know, I'm downline of my sister Jennifer, that doesn't mean that I can't learn something or reach out to Kelly or Denise or whoever to help. And hopefully we can all be there for one another. And I think we have that going on here. It's such a great thing. Remain approachable as a leader, role model, and coach. You want to make sure that people feel comfortable coming to you and looking for your advice. And then this quote from Socrates: the individual leads in order that those who are led develop their potential as human beings and thereby prosper. All right, so we've reached level 5, which is the pinnacle. And this is about respect, where people follow because of who you are and what you represent. So you've made it now. So what? So what are you going to do? Now what? You should remain humble and teachable. You need to maintain your core focus. This is important. So we've just gone through these 5 levels of leadership. It's important for you to note that once you've gone up to level 2 and beyond, you don't just stop doing those things that were needed to get to level 2 or to get to level 3. You continue to keep those skills and build upon them. So we don't just, oh, I'm good, I've built relationships, now I'm done and I'm moving on to developing my people. No, you have to keep building relationships. You have to keep developing your people once you reach this pinnacle. That's how you keep the momentum going. Maintain your core focus. Speaking on maintaining your core focus. So I'm reading this book, or I've kind of been in and out of it, from Josh Coates, who is a former John Maxwell trainer. And it's called, ooh, you see that? I don't know if you can see it. It's called F Leadership: How to Motivate and Mentor Your Team to True Success. I highly recommend this book. I will put it on our Mary Kay page on Facebook. But this one in particular really talks about our particular business, the work that we do in building teams. So those direct sales and that kind of thing. But one thing that I liked that he talked about was imagine that you come home from a night out and your house is on fire and the babysitter and the kids are inside the house and the door is locked and you have to get into the house, right? And you're going to do whatever you can to get into that house. You're going to kick the door, you're going to break a window, you're going to do whatever you can. But if we take away the fire, we take away the kids in the house, all of that, and you get home and you're locked out of the house, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to call a locksmith or call somebody to bring you a key, and you're going to sit in your car and you're going to play games on your phone while you're waiting, right? You're not feeling that urgency. It's important to keep that urgency when it comes to the work that you're doing and the leadership. Create the right inner circle to keep you grounded. This is so important. And we have such a great group. I love being a part of this group. Do what only you can do. But also, I would say, be sure to give others, delegate others responsibilities. That's a huge part of leadership. It's something I've had to learn. I used to be the type of person who felt like I had to do it because I could only do it the right way. And I've had to learn over the last few years that that's not true, that it's okay to let others do the work and that they might do it differently than me, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that it was done differently. So be sure to do what only you can do, but also to delegate to others. I think this is a great opportunity that we get a chance to teach on these calls or when we meet up. Create a supercharged leadership development environment. Keep the excitement going about helping to develop your team members into leaders. Let them know like you're excited for them to get to the next level, that you want to help them get there. Create room at the top and develop your top leaders. Again, we don't want to create an environment of competition. And like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And plan your succession and your legacy. So hearing recently at career conferences about how our leadership numbers have diminished so much in Mary Kay. So we used to have, so many folks, I can't remember what it was and the dates, but it's diminished quite a bit. And we're only a generation away from those who haven't been trained up by Mary Kay herself. And so we need to plan as leaders, plan our succession and our legacy. And then this quote, the ultimate leader is one who is willing to develop people to the point that they eventually surpass him or her in knowledge and ability. So I've read this amazing book, and again, I can share this on our Facebook page, and it's called Big Potential: How Transforming the Pursuit of Success Raises Our Achievement, Happiness, and Well-Being. This book was a game changer for me, not only for leadership, but just how to gain success. And so it begins with a story of a biologist in 1935 who is in Southeast Asia or somewhere like that. And he is going along the river at night. And all of a sudden he looks over at a mangrove tree, and it like sparks, right? It like lights up. And he's like thinking it's lightning or something. He couldn't figure out what it was. And then a few seconds later, it does it again, same tree, lights up. And then a few seconds later, a bunch more trees light up, all at the same time, all together in unity. And what he found was it's lightning bugs. And these lightning bugs would work together and light up at the same time. And what's interesting about this is that these lightning bugs, they are doing this to call a mate, right? But what they found is if you had just one or two or three lightning bugs who were going off, they were less likely to get a mate. But if you have a bunch of them going off at one time, then that likelihood of finding a mate went up by 79%. So I'm saying all this to say that it takes a team, right? It's not about just one of us. And that's kind of, I think, how we're raised up in this environment of thinking that we do have to be competitive, that we do have to be the top person. And that's not what it is. You're going to find, and this book talks about different resources and different like tests and all of this that they did. I think Harvard did some studies and stuff like that that showed that when people not only worked more with their team, but also focused more on the success of others and helped others achieve their goal, they then in turn built up their own success. So be like a lightning bug, right? So society teaches us that it's better to be the only bright light than be in a forest of bright lights. Not true. When you have a whole forest of bright lights, imagine the people that you're going to draw to you rather than just one person. That's a bright light. So I was going to talk a little bit about leadership values. Okay, we've got a little time. So here are some different values. I don't know if you can all see them, but we have like accountability, achievement, authority, customer satisfaction, diversity, effectiveness, faith, religion, family, fitness, fun, money, wealth, passion, all of those. It's important to know what your leadership value is, because based on that, you're going to know then how you need to adjust your leadership style or work your leadership style. So somebody just throw out to me one that they think is a good leadership value, or one that they feel for them resonates.
Passion.
Passion. Okay, so I'm gonna just read to you a little bit about passion so that you understand kind of what I'm saying here.
I think a lot of the girls are muted, so you guys can unmute yourselves.
So what it looks like Intense emotional excitement and boundless enthusiasm. You love what you do. If you didn't, you'd have to find another job. Since you believe that what you are doing is worthwhile, you work hard and don't give up easily. You're happiest and most fulfilled when there is a spirit of excitement and enthusiasm throughout the workplace. When things get dull, you try to liven them up however you can. Those parts of your job that are less exciting do frustrate you, so you seek out new endeavors and try to be a part of anything exciting that might be happening. So, it says when you're relating to others, you prefer to be around passionate and positive people. Things become even more fun, exciting, and productive when you feed off one another's enthusiasm. You enjoy making other people happy and sharing your ideas with them. When negative people try to dampen your enthusiasm, you try to turn the tables and get them excited. People who refuse to be enthusiastic drag down morale and production and are best avoided. So, and then as you're where passion works with each of these levels of leadership. At level 1, passionate people are rarely satisfied to lead at this level, and this will serve you well to move up. And then at level 2, if your passion is contagious, you will succeed at this level. Getting naysayers on board will always be a challenge, but you have the energy to keep working on them. Level 3, this level offers you a chance to shine by turning your passion into results. Just remember, you also have to get the team on board. And level 4, develop in yourself a passion for seeing others succeed as leaders. I think that sounds a lot like you, Denise. So I think that's great that you shared that. Does anybody else want to do one real quick? There was one in here that I thought was really interesting. But let's do this one.
Integrity.
What was it? Go ahead. Integrity? Okay, let's do that one. Can find it. Here we go. Integrity, words and deeds match up. I am who I am, no matter where I am or who I am with, and what this looks like. You strive to demonstrate your integrity through your actions more than your words. When the climate of the workplace is tense due to impending crisis or looming deadline, you do not panic. You continue to work hard and stay true to those principles that had served you so well in the past. You have learned through experience that regardless of what happens, life goes on. And what seems like catastrophe today will shrink into the rearview mirror. You are steady in the face of trouble. Oh my goodness, April, this just fits you so, so well. Relating to others, people who know you well have seen your integrity play out in difficult situations. When you go through these tough times with the help of others, you emerge with solid and trustworthy peers. You are not one to pick a fight, but you are not afraid to stand up for what is right. There have been times when your integrity has caused disagreements with others, but you hold your ground when you believe you are right. You respect a person who can work through a personal conflict maturely. Those who fail to show integrity, however, lose your respect and will not regain it easily. So how this works on each level of leadership. Level 1, a strong sense of integrity will keep you grounded. So do not overuse your position-based authority. At level 2, people find it easy to connect with you because you are authentic. The only possible pitfall at this level is if you forget that other people are different from you. See, that's something I struggled with. Level 3, it's easy to be productive when working with people of integrity because you know what to expect. This value will help you lead others to productivity. And at level 4, because you are so in touch with the reality of who you are, you likely have the ability to help others see who they are. This is a good foundation for helping others grow and develop. I think that was perfect for you. You did that. That's great. So one last thing to share with you, and this again comes from that and that big potential book is The Seeds of Big Potential. Seeds standing for surround, expand, enhance, defend, and sustain. And what he says about these, and this is from the author is Sean. I don't know how to say his last name. It's either Achor. It's spelled like anchor, but without the N. And he also wrote Happiness Advantage, also a great book to read. But so the 5 stages of seeds, big potential. Surround yourself with a star system of positive influencers. Expand your power by helping others lead from every seat. Enhance your resources by becoming a prism of praise. It is so important for us to praise others. We need to recognize that we don't do anything alone. We don't. There is always somebody else involved. So when I actually had somebody praise me today for some work that I did, and my reaction, because I've read this book, is always to say, this was a team effort. I could not have done this without this person who did this and that person who did this. And it's true, I couldn't have. So while I'm thanking them for their praise of me, I want to also recognize those others who helped me to get where I'm at and to make that action happen. Let's see, where was I at? Oh yeah, defend the system against negative attacks and sustain the gains by fueling a virtuous cycle. A virtuous cycle is explained as a positive feedback loop whereby making others better leaders leads to more resources, energy, and experience that make you better, fueling the cycle again. Thus, making others better takes your success to the next level. So I know Vanessa has got her ask out there. I'm excited to see her take it to the next level. I know we've got lots of people working on this right now. Let me stop sharing my screen really quick if I can get back to it. I'm really excited to see everybody's leadership thrive and grow. And already Heidi, stopping at a rest stop to put in her, what was it? Her
DIQ commitment.
yes, her DIQ commitment. I mean, amazing, right? So I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to share a few things in our Facebook page. I have a couple things from the Maxwell leadership that will, like a questionnaire that will help you understand where you're at on your leadership journey. Also to help you understand where some of those you are leading are at. I think it's important to note that you might be at different leadership levels with different people on your team. And that's okay. Like, it's fine. That's how it has to work sometimes. But yeah, I'm going to share a couple of those things with you to just kind of continue to guide you. And thank you for the opportunity to teach on this. I hope it's been helpful.
That was so fantastic. Can we give Jill some feedback, you guys? What are your takeaways? Well, first of all, I'm going to start by just saying, I know one other time we had you teach, and you and your sister, oh my gosh, such incredible leaders in how you train and how you break it down and how you illustrate and screen share and all the things to engage everybody. And I know that you live this. I've watched you grow so much in just a short amount of time that I've known you, and especially since you've gotten into Mary Kay. So thank you so much for, I knew you would do a beautiful, amazing job at this. And Mary Kay used to say, we get what we want by helping other people get what they want, and people support what they help to create. So John Maxwell, as you said, Jill, was it was him and Bill Cantrell and Susie Orman have only, since I've been in Mary Kay, the only people that Mary Kay's ever brought in from outside of the sales force of directors and nationals to come and train us. And so very respected. He and Mary Kay were very good friends. So love all of his stuff. And thank you so much for sharing. What else do you guys want to
I
share
want to
with?
go next. Jill, number one, you look amazing.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you look so successful and professional right now. And when you first got on, I thought, oh, Jill looks so good tonight. And then to have you do the training, you look amazing. And I loved your visual. Everything that you showed was very eye-catching, and I loved how you explained it. So you did an excellent job, and I loved everything. And what was that one book you said, Happiness, something that Sean wrote?
Yeah, Happiness Advantage is one of the books he wrote. And then the one that I was working off of is Big Potential. And there's more to it. Like there's, like
That
a
was
subtitle to it.
excellent.
Thank
Excellent,
you.
excellent, excellent.
Yes, thank you so much.
Who else wants to share?
I will say Denise said everything I wanted to say. I was going to say exactly what she said. So I'm going to say ditto just because we are running short on time, but absolutely true. We help enough people get what they want. We end up getting what they want. And you just broke that down into bite-sized pieces to really help consultants feel like, okay, it's a process. There's levels and they may not be where, we see them, but we can love them right where they are and know that there's ways to move to those next levels and they can see it and not just hear it from us as directors because sometimes we tell them, but they don't understand. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
I
want to
think,
go.
oh, yes, go ahead.
Jill, you're amazing. I freaking love you so much. And you are such a natural leader. And I love you. And you need to be a director. The whole time you were training, I was like, oh, she's going to be a director. She's going to be a director. She's going to be a director. You're just so good. And like, I've read that book by John Maxwell and did that training. And I absolutely loved how you took the little pieces and applied it to our business specifically, because I personally struggled with that while I was reading it. And so it like, I had some lots of aha moments. So thank you for doing it the way you did. It was beautiful.
Good, thank you. I have to say, it's kind of funny. So when I took that training, it was in August of last year, and it was 2 weeks after seminar. And seminar, I was still in the pink bubble from seminar. And then I had this training. And then a week later, I was given a very nice raise. And I called Denise and I said, I just got a very nice raise, and I think it's from Mary Kay. Even though it was from my job, I feel like because of that high I was on from a seminar and what I learned there, and the just the excitement I had to go out and to do. And yeah, I wasn't necessarily applying it to my Mary Kay business, but I applied it to my job, and it produced, it will produce. Like they kept saying at career conference, you just have to do those simple things. You the three, the three, the three. It will work.
Anybody else want to share? I have the director's memo sitting here in front of me, and it's always kind of fun to end on a really positive note. I know we went through a lot, so go back through your announcements because I was a little bit all over the place. But these are Mary Kay's words. Long ago, someone said it is as honorable to sell as it is to buy. You and I have the responsibility to keep the honor in selling, remembering that our nation's economy depends upon the fact that nothing happens until somebody sells something. So kind of make friends with, sharing your knowledge and information and passion about the career and about the product. And have a wonderful, fantastic week, everybody. I'll
Thanks,
have a new
everyone.
marketing video by tomorrow for you.